Welcome to the Dana Grant Show, where heart-centered stories, authentic connections, real talk, and real action come together. I'm your host, Dana Grant. I'm a life coach, speaker, and believer in the boundless power within every one of us. Each week, we're diving into raw, transformative conversations that not only spark healing, but growth and unshakable clarity. Because you know what? Your story matters. Your voice deserves to be heard, and your purpose is waiting to be fully lived. You're in the right place. Let's begin. Welcome back to the Dana Grant Show, where I have a special guest in the house today. I don't often say this, that I think we all have a genius, but she has got a genius of patience, clarity. Katie Pulsifer, I wrote that down, Pulsifer, um, is a genius. She's a genius at leading women, holding space for women, training women in certifications of, and she created the Golden Coaching Certification, which not a lot of coaches out there are holding space and training coaches to be better coaches, which everything about her you're going to want to know. We're going to drop in deep today. We're going to talk about legacies. We're going to talk about coaching. We're going to talk about what the world needs in 2026. But we're going to have a heart-to-heart conversation on, and what I wrote was not only outgrowing the good life, but redefining success, purpose, and what comes next, just not only for Katie, but for all of you. So, Katie, I know that was a mouthful, but welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much. I am delighted to be here and spending time with you.
We met months ago, and it's
Mhm.
taken us a while to connect, but wow, I know for me it's worth the wait because I just loved you from day one. It was like, oh, this is a person that you want to put in your back pocket or your front pocket, and you want to pull out because you just illuminate
Mm.
all the things that we want to be close to.
Oh, thank you. What a
Yeah.
beautiful compliment. Thank you so much.
Well, that's the truth. That's the truth.
Mm.
So, Golden Coaching Certificate. So let's go back. Where did
Okay.
you what started this whole journey for you? Because we hear the coaching industry is saturated in this and that, and I don't often
Mm.
talk about that. And I'm like, oh, phooey,
Yeah.
stop it. But
Mm.
you have trained thousands of women
Hmm.
with coaching certificates, and I want to know what led you down that path to
Mm.
hold space. That's holding a lot of space.
Yeah, it's holding a lot of space, which is just the greatest honor of a lifetime, I think. But,
Mm,
I mean, it's not a story too dissimilar to probably other coaches you've spoken to who you receive coaching and it changes your life, and it is the one thing that really clicks and connects, and everything starts moving in a direction that you're excited about. And it was like, I have to do this. I literally have to do this and tell as many people as I know that this is a viable option, not an instead of all the other beautiful modalities that are out there, but
yeah.
this is something important that you should know could be available to you. Um, because I mean, it absolutely changed my life from going from
Mm,
working with what I got and being very reactionary to everything and then fixing it along the way to
wow.
creating from scratch what I wanted, or being more discerning and
Yeah.
being more protective of my own energy, regulating
Yeah.
my nervous system. I mean,
Right.
all the things.
Boundaries, all the things. Well, you
Oh,
brought all that up, and I'm thinking of all the trigger words of trauma, boundaries, regulating. In 2026, and
mhm,
in coaching thousands of women and teaching them how to hold space for other women as well, and
mhm,
coaching,
mhm,
I mean, which is multi-layered. What do you think is needed right now? What do you think in
mm.
all of your information? I know that's a loaded question, but what do you believe is needed now for women to succeed and to thrive?
I keep it really simple because it just keeps me so on track and keeps me coming back to what I love. And it is to be seen, heard, and understood.
Be seen, heard, and you know what's so crazy is I just showed you a penny of walking down, not a penny, a dime walking down the hallway, which was
Yeah.
guidance, confirmation that
Yeah.
we are meant to connect. But
Yes.
more importantly, what I just wrote down, and even with my creating cauliflower foods, it was the branding was keep it simple.
Yes.
And getting back to basics, you and I are so
Mm-hmm.
aligned.
Hmm.
It's like we're these little illuminated firebugs, and this is what I keep seeing. Yeah, I've never even seen one. What are they called? Light
Oh,
bugs?
fireflies.
Fireflies. And
Yes.
I'm seeing them, and I'm trying to put a glass thing over them, and it but I see similar, like, I know that's a crazy analogy, but it's what I see, and I
Mm-hmm.
can't make
Mm-hmm.
this stuff up. I mean, you can't fake that. I could have come up with something a lot more clever, but um it's the truth. I see you as a firefly, and me buzzing around you like in a similar energy field.
Well, and I mean, I feel that in your presence, and
Yeah.
it is something that makes me feel so drawn to you. I want to like study your work. I want to be in your
Yeah.
world. And so to think about that happening, like as coaches, we get to do that for other people. And sometimes we are
Yeah.
the only people that see, hear, and understand another human being. There's no one else in their life where they can be so honest, feel
Yeah.
so held, feel so safe to express deep desires, goals, secrets,
Mm.
frustrations, whatever it is. It's like to be able to create a space for someone to reveal themselves to you. I
Mhm.
mean, what a privilege. And whether they choose to act on anything they share or not doesn't matter as much. I try not to be attached to their outcomes and their destinations and their results and all that. It's just like
Oh, that
in
could be
this
tricky.
moment.
That's tricky. That's tricky business
Yeah,
because then
but
we're attached to their success or their losses,
right.
and that can drag us down. So I want people to get a pen and paper out right now, and I don't often say that, but I think it was really powerful what you said, and they can actually download and re-listen as well. You said hear,
See, hear, and understand.
yeah, see, hear, and understand. I said understood, but and understand. But I think that is the premise of, I always say, love and be loved.
Mm,
That is,
mm-hmm,
we're here to
mm-hmm,
love and be loved, universal
mm-hmm,
laws. I think what
mm-hmm.
you just said is a universal law. Hear, see, and be understood is connection.
Yes.
It's the simplicity of all the words we put out there, that don't mask, but if we broke it all down, it would be exactly that. And I think
Mm-hmm.
if you write that down and the relationship to that, I mean, us both being, master certified coaches, it's like if you just write that down and write down what that means and what you need out of that,
Yes.
that's powerful stuff.
Yeah, because
Simple but powerful.
yes, yes. And when we are so quick to have a snap judgment and a quick first impression and
Which
an
we all are.
assumption,
We've all been there.
and we all always
Yeah.
will, we will operate that way a lot of our
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that capture our attention right now want us to only participate at
Mm.
that kind of surface level. So to provide
Yeah.
a space to go deeper, I think
Yeah.
that is what we need in 2026. But I've
Mm.
also thought that long before 2026, but now more
Yeah.
than ever, I think
None more than ever.
we're
And
going to have.
what does that look like? What do you think that in holding that container and
Mm.
that simplicity, what comes next after that that people, in their evolution should know?
Well, I think it's just we can create this like playground, if you will, or
Mhm.
like expansive space where someone could try out an idea or try out visioning something they may want,
Mm.
or an identity that they might want to hold could come to life, a belief they may want to lean into. And it's like it's a safe place to
Mm.
practice in this playground together, to try it on, to see how it
Don't.
feels. What would your life be like? And there's not
Mm.
enough imagination and play for us grown-ups
Well, and
sometimes.
I often go back to the curiosity,
Yeah.
and and we're so curious when in our
Hmm.
younger days, and where
Hmm.
along the way do we lose that
Hmm.
curiosity, and which I think is where we expand our creativity.
Oh,
how can we be
absolutely.
creative if we are in this linear chop, as I always call it, chopping wood? We're getting the work done. We're doing what needs to
Mhm.
be done, what we think the world needs from us. And what you
Mhm.
did was you just disconnected and you said, just go out on the playground and play.
Yes. Yes.
What
Yeah.
would that feel like?
Oh, yeah. I mean, what gets left behind? What gets shaken off? What do you experiment with? What do you try? I mean, seeing yourself only one way for so long can feel so
Mm.
limiting, and it really limits what you imagine for yourself in the future. So being, like you said, curious, creating a creative space together, and co-creating
Yeah.
a conversation around kind of unlimited possibilities, all the things that you talk about
Mm.
as well. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
well, so for the women out there that are listening to this right now, and I know and I especially know that being an entrepreneur, it can be very isolating and alone. And they're like, you're so connected, you're so da, 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 da," and I'm like, that's a lot of projection. And as I'm sitting here weeping, laying on my floor, going, I'm so alone,
yeah.
and what would you have to say to those women that they're alone, they want to connect, they want more, and they don't know how to find
Mm,
it or where? Because even doing what we do, I think like we said, oh, I saw that event. I was gonna do that and I was gonna connect there, but we don't
mm,
often do that. What do you
mhm.
have to say to the women that hesitate or pause on that connection? Is it just do it, like Nike, just do it? Or what power of discernment should they
Mm,
use in connecting?
mm. It's funny you brought this up. I was talking about this on a round table earlier today, and one thought that has been really helpful for me is something good always comes out of connecting. And
I like
even
that.
if it's not what I expect, like A plus B equals C, like it's not the C, but just being willing to be open to a positive outcome from a
Mm.
connection. It
Mm.
is either I did something I didn't want to do, or I sat with an uncomfortable emotion and did it anyway, or I got an
Yeah.
introduction, or I got a client, or I learned something new, or I
Mm.
have a new favorite hobby, or,
Yeah.
we never know what is on the way
Yeah.
to us
Yeah.
via, I don't know how you say it,
I like
someone
them
else,
both.
right?
Well, you're talking to someone who makes up their own words, and people are like, that's not a word. And I'm like, well, it is now.
Yeah. Yeah. So we never know what is on the other side of a
Mm.
connection. And so if your nervous system can handle it, and if, I mean, sometimes it doesn't feel easy and we're a little bit nervous to
Mm.
reach out and do something we've never done
Right.
before or say hi. I mean, I certainly felt that way reaching out to you before I knew you.
Mm.
What is feeling all the things. And so
Yeah.
glad I did, because now
Yeah.
I have this friend on the other side of
Yeah.
that reach out that I could have never predicted in a million
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. And it
So,
was a brilliant connection. And it's taken us a few months to reconvene, but it's like, it wasn't like, oh, it was like instant, like
mm,
fireflies.
yeah,
It was like
yeah.
fireflies. I guess I want to ask you, and I think because I feel it out there, and I know you probably do too. For the women, I think more women are struggling now than ever. What do you have to say to them? I mean, as a life coach and a
Hmm.
mentor
Hmm.
and holding space for groups and teaching, what do you think women overlook? And what do you think that they probably spiritually bypass in order to have maybe a little more external validation so that they really abandon themselves? So I
Mm,
guess that was a long question, but yeah, where do you see women abandon themselves the most?
mm. Well, I think they often abandon themselves with the belief that they are doing something wrong.
Mm.
It starts with like I'm doing it wrong, I'm
Yeah. I'm
wrong.
wrong. I'm
You
wrong.
know,
Yeah.
it's just that immediate, like instead of, oh no, this isn't actually for me, or yes, I used to love to take care of others in this way, and I no
Yeah.
longer want to. There's often, as we've been socialized to do, to turn it around and flip it and point at us
I'm
as
doing
the
something
problem.
wrong.
I'm doing
Yeah.
something wrong. And so to just begin with the what if you're doing everything
Mm.
beautifully as you were designed and taught to do? That
Mm.
and even questioning what you want now and what works for you now is the natural progression of getting older or wiser or more tuned in to yourself.
Yeah.
But that the resistant, like resisting the I'm wrong
Hmm.
as the first, well, and I would hope first, second, third, and fourth thing, but to resist you making yourself the problem.
Right.
Because when from there, if you're like, no, I'm good, I'm whole, I'm wise, I'm worthy.
Mm.
Now, how do I want to look out at the world that I live in, the community I'm in, the
Yeah, through
marriage,
this lens. Yeah.
parenting, and who do I want to be looking out from there?
How do they not heal, but how do they forgive the
Mm,
versions of them
mm,
that showed up maybe more reactive,
yeah.
maybe not so aligned?
Mhm.
Perhaps there was a lot of destruction and chaos, and now they are this healed version and they keep showing up. W- w- How do we close that gap?
Mm. Well, a mentor of mine taught me a version of I forgive my past self for fill in the blank, who didn't know any better, sort of some version of that. Or I'm
Mm,
always doing the best that I have with what I know, or
yeah,
I'm doing the best I can with what I have to work with.
right.
So,
I always
and
say, and I don't know that yet. It's
yes,
like there's a
exactly.
version of me that didn't know that yet. And
Yes,
yeah, and so giving yourself love and compassion
yes.
and a pass, saying you didn't know that yet. So love that version of you that showed up. So it
Mhm.
isn't any more complicated than love and be loved. Love and be loved the version of you and evolve, and then love that version of you and then evolve. So you really have to love the version what I'm hearing you say, you have to go back and love that version of you that's imperfect, perfectly imperfect, and and needs a lot of grace because there's
Yeah.
sometimes we can do really big things and people love, and I want to ask you about this. People love to drag us back there to the versions of us that we might have made mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to
I
say to
also,
those women that are listening that's saying, I overspent and I bankrupted and I did this and I did that. And if anyone knew, they would never love me. What do you have to say
mm.
to them?
And what's the other version of the story?
Ah, and what's the other? Oh, let's
Yeah,
pause.
and tell me the
And what's the
total
other version of the
opposite.
story?
Tell me
Yeah.
the total opposite of that version. Like what else is
Ah,
true here? But I
what
also
else
think
is
it's so
true?
fun to think I'm a work in progress and I get an unlimited number of do-overs.
Mm.
Unlimited number of do-overs because what do we know to be true? We are always going to make mistakes. We're
So
going
we're
to
not like
always
cats. We don't have 9 lives. We get unlimited amount of do-overs.
unlimited do-overs.
I love the unlimited do-overs because I what I've realized is especially at my age is that I'm never going to stop making mistakes.
Never.
However, the severity and the depth of what I would have done is I call them mini bumps now, where before they were like landmines. I
Yes.
would blow my world up over and over again, and now it's like, well, that wasn't even a firecracker. In fact, I'm just going to call that a firefly. It's just,
Yes.
I'm just
Yes.
buzzing around like a firefly.
Yeah.
But sometimes, what do you say to the women, which opens another door? I mean, not, I guess I'm going to just abort the whole questions I've asked because it's just opening door after door after door for me intuitively for the women that can't help themselves
Mm,
and they're going to put the landmine in, they're going to blow up because they can't handle the version and the
mm,
peace and the life
yeah,
that
yeah,
is their birthright. It's their
right.
birthright to be loved and be loved and to have
Yes.
peace. And I always say that this is your birthright. And
Mm,
I feel it from the depths of my soul. And I don't know how to reach women that just keep
mm.
showing up and sabotaging.
Right, right, right. And I know them too. They are
Yeah.
my clients and my students. And so
Yeah. How do you handle
creating,
that,
yeah,
Katie?
well, I just think creating curiosity around what do you get from the sabotage? What do you
Yeah.
get? What it's giving you something. So let's just talk about it and air it
What
out.
do you
And
need
like,
out of it? It's like, what do you need out of
yeah,
that? Yeah.
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
reason. It's not your fault. There's a
Yeah.
reason that
Yeah.
this feels like your best option to
Um,
sabotage. Let's
best
just
option.
really like get into it. So, of course, no shaming, no making it wrong. It's just like fascination, utter fascination, like of all
Mm.
the ways you could treat yourself, of all the
Mm.
ways you could live your life. This seems like the best idea. Let's find out exactly why, what it gives you, what it costs you, what you're proud of, what where it's dragging you back. It's like we just explore it from every side possible in maybe the hopes
Mm.
that it might shake it loose a little bit, the pattern.
Oh, I love that. I use that all the time. Shake it loose. I said it's like a tree. I just said it today. It's like a tree, and you shake out the bad apples, and sometimes a good
Mm,
apple, but you shake that tree, and I love that. And you shake leaves loose. I visualize that because trees
mm,
have an
hmm.
underground. They're all
Yes.
connected. I think we're all connected here to support each other. But why do you think the world and women especially don't feel supported?
Mm. Well, there's so much that is telling us that we are not to be supported, or that what we do, our work, our contribution doesn't matter. It's not as valuable. Our voice doesn't
Mhm.
count. Um,
Yeah.
whether it's the way that we're paid or the positions that we are eligible for, or,
Would you say it's illuminated this year for me. I mean, and
yeah.
I go back to being working for a business lobbyist and tolerating.
Mm-hmm.
I look back on what I tolerated and it
Mm-hmm.
it it shocks me
Mm-hmm.
what I went
Mm-hmm.
through. And
Mm-hmm.
then I look through another phase of my life in my 30s and my 40s. And then of course I spent years being sick. I mean, so debilitatingly sick. What a surprise that I was hospitalized 10 days a month and that I got addicted to, medication because I could in a world where I was so graced and talented, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't see any of that. What I saw was what the world showed me, and
Yeah.
that someone close to me said, "Well, you just sell sex." And I'm like, I have a black skirt to my knees. I have Payless shoe sores because I have size 12 feet, plastic shoes that I'm out there pounding the pavement and my feet are bloodied. I'm peeling and I'm wearing a white blouse with a green brooch and my hair's always up. I didn't wear my hair down until I was probably 55. It was in a tidy
Wow.
little bun,
Yeah, of course.
I'm hanging on like crazy. And you're telling me that the world sees me as that. And all I want to,
Mm,
but what an impact
yeah.
that made on my
Of
life.
like I can imagine like the shrinking and
The
a just like yeah,
exactly,
retreating and
the
hiding.
shrinking.
Hmm.
So that little story is going to take me to my next question. For the women out there that are shrinking for every single voice or comment or ex-husband or external validation, it could be anybody
Mm,
that doesn't
mm.
know them and they hear something and it has nothing, and as you and I know, it has nothing to do
Nothing
with
to
them.
them. Mhm.
How do we buffer, prevent them from shrinking? And how do we get them to expand and say, it's almost like that movie from the 70s. I mean, where he shouts out the windows. It was called, oh, Network, maybe even sooner than that with Faye Dunaway. And I don't know who he was. And he opens the windows And he goes, and I'm not going to take it anymore in New York.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
famous movie, and
Yes.
it's called Network. And I've only seen that version of it. And I was mesmerized by him throwing the windows open and saying, and I'm not going to take it anymore. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to throw the window open too and say that. But what would you have to say? I mean, that was a
Well,
version, but it gave me a visualization and
yeah, I'm so
maybe the
visual
whole
too, so
visualization.
I appreciate you creating them for both of us. It's so helpful. I mean, that's where I think that like exposing coaching to as many people as possible can be, profound. And whether you receive coaching or you study coaching so that you can apply it to yourself, but
Mm.
just understanding the difference between someone's words and the
Yeah.
choice you have in the interpretation and almost the digestion of those words. Like just because they're said does not mean that they need to be interpreted the exact same way by you.
Yeah.
And how much more agency and choice you actually really have to choose what to think, choose what to feel, choose how to react, to respond. Um, and unfortunately, as we were just discussing, so many women do not believe that choice is available to them by design, not their fault again, but by
Well,
design.
it's still a choice. When you don't, it's still a choice, which is, as you and I know, it's our greatest power, the right to choose.
Yeah.
It's
So
like our
that,
greatest power. They forfeit their greatest power. And I'm like,
yeah.
what? You
So I
know?
think they just need to know that a choice is available, even
Mm.
for a listener to sit with that, that choice is available. That is a beautiful beginning place.
Even if it's a struggle, the choice is available. And that, so if they're sitting there saying, and how many times have we heard, I don't have a choice. I can't build that because I have to work. I don't have a choice. And, and then we hear this, no, 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 no. And I'm like,
The defending.
yeah, defending the I don't have a choice
Yes.
comment, which
Yes.
I have to work and I have children to feed and I have to and I have and I have and I have and it's always I. And I'm always like, isn't it a collective? Isn't it a we? We are in this together. We are connected to source. We are connected to everything. And if we do believe that, there's more available to us.
Mm-hmm.
We are on the playing field. We are calling in more. We are understanding if it's just me, how isolating and alone that would be.
Yeah. 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 It is so comforting, even when you may really be on your own in your life, to know that you are held by something so much greater and so much bigger. And
Yeah.
it's fun to really tap into that.
Yeah.
Um, as like, okay, what is the universe choosing
Mm.
for me? Um, where is it guiding me? How is it helping me in ways that I can't even see or imagine right now? But it's just like
Mm.
humming in the background, helping me have more of the life that it is that I want. It's like, I just think there's
Mm.
no downside in thinking
Yeah.
beautiful thoughts about the way the world works or what's possible. It's like zero downside. So,
I love that. I love that. Someone said something to me yesterday and said, maybe it was maybe it was my mama, my 83-year-old mama. I think when I walked in to pick her up for 4th of July, she says, we're not going to talk about anything negative today. And I'm like, great. Because we have a big difference on politics at this point. And I'm like, this is super because we're going to be in the car for hours and I'm going to take you to a parade and you've got your walker and we don't have, okay. And
amazing.
it was a beautiful day.
Oh,
And you know
that's so
what?
special.
We, it was incredible and nothing was discussed that was abrasive, no conflict, nothing to resolve. Everything
Mm,
that came out of my mouth that might have created dissent was like, oh no, we're not going to talk about that. So it
mm,
was like, hey, did you see Mount Shasta? Hey,
mm.
did you see that? Oh my gosh, that's that where we swam years ago,
Oh,
because it
yes.
was a long drive. Do you remember the river? And
Oh,
there was only once where I said, and then that dog came up and got sand all over. And you remember Grandma? And she goes, I don't remember that. And I'm like, oh, it started something. a little bit of it was almost like one of those little whirlwinds, those little dust bunnies that kick up.
Hmm.
And then I squashed it and said, yeah, well, I might not remember it correctly. I remembered it exactly, but it was something negative, and I said I wouldn't talk about anything negative. And I
Oh,
rebooted, and
yeah.
everything about it, no matter how hot it was, no matter everything was just really beautiful. It was so joyful, you
Oh,
know.
that's so special.
Yeah,
So
everything.
special.
It really was. I mean, I'll never forget the parade, the energy, the music, just looking at my mom,
Mm, mm,
watching her and looking at her and saying, I have a choice that
mm,
this day could
mm,
be a disaster because we've
mm,
had disastrous days,
mm, mm,
heartbreaking days. And
mm,
she's 83, and I want so much
mm.
to just be present with her and watch her, and she's so sharp, and listen to her. Her knees may be giving out and her eyes may be giving out, but her brain is like I mean like Einstein. And
Oh, wow.
oh yeah.
Wow. So talk about being seen, heard, and understood, right? Like that is like the most
Yes.
beautiful, like coming back full circle
Mm,
moment to that. It's like she
yeah.
asked you for what you wanted. You
Yeah.
saw, heard, and understood her, and then just delivered and created
Yeah.
something extraordinary for yourself. And
Mm.
with the
And
brain's tendency to like, and bias for negativity and problems and um,
yeah.
everything that could go wrong and to override that over and over and over again in that car ride and just drop into beauty
Yeah. With her anxiety,
and
I've got a big
connection.
defender. And and it could go, it's 6,000 tons. It could go faster downhill. I've got to slow it down. And but her anxiety with, and with her eyes of feeling anxious,
Mm.
she held her anxiety, and I overcompensated with my cruise control going slower. We didn't need to get there in a hurry. Who
Mm.
cares if I go? There were people that did pass me and do some ugly finger movements, but I'm like, I waved, Happy Fourth
Yeah.
of July. But I went
Yay.
slower. I didn't need to get there in a hurry.
Mm.
And I didn't need to, and I normally go very fast. And she goes, You're a really fast driver. And I'm like, Not so much anymore. I'm not, because my eyes have changed too. And I don't
Mm.
need to get there as fast. And I think that what I'm hearing everything said, external and internal, is grace. That we have to
Yeah.
give ourselves the grace to change and understand that life doesn't stay the same.
Yes, yes. And when we were talking before we began recording, we were talking about women's legacy work. And
Oh
I
yeah,
think like
let's
this
unpack
is
that
like
because I wrote
such
that
a
down. Yeah.
beautiful, also, um, like example of creating a legacy moment in your lifetime while you're here with your mom. It's like, I want to be that kind of daughter. I want to meet my mom's requests and honor them and spend time in her 83rd year of life in a way that benefits us both. It's like,
Yeah, and let's prelude that with, I've written a book that's behind me, The Truth Within the Lie,
yes.
where I have described her as a narcissist,
Mm-hmm.
abusive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it didn't stop me from loving her, but there
Right.
were a lot of trauma. And when
Mm-hmm.
people think it's too late and you can't, it is a desire, it is a choice. I, people are like, why would you keep? Because I love her and she loves me. And I know that to be true. And we are changing and evolving.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not going to let her exit this world without,
Mm-hmm.
if I have anything to do with it. And that doesn't mean I get abused and I'm tolerating,
Of course
but
not.
with
Of
a
course.
beautiful relationship, which a beautiful, it wasn't just a beautiful day. Every day we have now is we focus on making elderberry jelly.
Oh,
I know that I will trigger her when I don't text, or when I'm traveling the world and she hears it on Facebook and says, "Oh, I didn't know you were in England." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, mom." I now give her the first, "Hey, mom, I'm doing this." And
oh,
it does take effort. to connect
Yeah.
and to honor. And but
Hmm.
I think that with that changes the outcome. And I'm
Definitely.
just, yeah, and I mean just the smallest effort. So let's talk about the legacy. On Substack, I know that you lean into Substack and a lot, and I love that. I wish that my ADHD would allow me to read long text more. I mean, I read so many books,
Me
but I
too.
go into
Yeah.
Substack and it's like, can I have it in book form? Can I print
Yeah.
it out? Because as we talked about, I print everything
You
out.
love the paper
I
and the
love, I
highlighter.
mean, I write notes everywhere. These are my notes from today.
Yeah.
I write everything out.
Me too.
I have 5 cases of, my team says, just throw it away. And I'm like, oh no, there could be gold in there. I mean, I write down what just God's source, it drops in, and I write out things that I think are genius.
Hmm.
And that's the way I receive it. I don't receive it in text form. And but
Hmm.
I love Substack because some of the people that are movers and shakers out there, life changers, including Daniel Laporte, are changing my relationship and
Yes.
saying, slow it down, take it in bite-sized pieces. You don't have to. And this is again that power. I don't
Yeah.
have to read it all at once.
Right. Right.
Maybe I just take what I need and leave the
Hmm.
rest.
Exactly.
Can I do
Exactly.
that?
Yes,
Can
you
I give?
can. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Sometimes I get everything I need from one paragraph. I'm so good with that.
Oh, I love that you said that. So, you wrote a lot about when the success becomes a ceiling. When what after that?
Yeah, well, I've just been thinking a lot as you and I care so much about women, helping them
Yeah.
a- achieve whatever their desired potential goals, whatever those
Mm.
happen to be. But that we often think of legacy as something for wealthy people or mostly men or something that happens after you
Later.
pass later. Um, because you've got a Wikipedia page or a name on a building or this number of zeros in your bank account. And it's like, wow, what if legacy work is actually this inner work that you and I have been talking about this whole time? I'm going to do the work I
Mm.
want to do on me to go from having a relationship that I did with my narcissistic mother to taking her to a 4th of July parade and honoring her wish to not have anything be negative. Like
Yeah, and
that's my
allowing her to
legacy.
and allowing her to change and her belief system to change. And and not to
Yes.
hold her accountable to be perfect. And what a beautiful relationship it is evolved into. And it's like, wow. And I continue to tell her, I'm sorry. I wish that when I wrote the book, I was softer and I was more gentle with my words, but that wasn't my gift in this life. I've been sharp with my words, and I don't think I was sharp in the book. I think I really did, but I have been sharp with my words. But when we think of legacy, this is crazy because I just told my daughters, all 3 of them, I am creating a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of inheritance, and I always thought that was a legacy, and it's all been
Mm-hmm.
lost. It's crazy the world I've lived in. But I said, I'm creating a legacy. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if that will be it wasn't just money. It was
Mm-hmm.
about building a business and the legacy for my new grandson Luca and creating something that means something to me.
Yes.
And then I thought, is that enough or do I have to build a legacy and be a multi-billionaire in order for that
No,
to be, but see,
no.
that's the old status quo.
Right,
If I build a
exactly.
legacy, it's going to have like $1 billion attached to it. Not even millions that mean anything anymore. Because my grandmother's a millionaire back in the 80s, that's just, and my dad too, and that's just not enough money now, you know?
Right, right. Yeah, so I've been thinking about it a lot. What do I want to be known for? I want to
Yeah.
be known for being a really kind and compassionate human being.
Oh,
Like
and
I want
you
that to
are
be
known
my
for that.
legacy. I
Yeah.
want that to be my legacy. Like I want to be known. I
Ooh,
want my girls to think of me in that way. And whatever else I do, the wealth, the business
girls, but I
side,
thought
the number,
you had 3 boys.
3 girls.
No, we both have 3 girls, but
I know.
I originally, I think you said you had three boys in the
No,
beginning. Did you?
but yeah,
Is it,
three girls.
isn't that weird? Actually, you know what? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I taped another podcast today and she had three boys. And I'm like,
Okay.
oh, we are flipped. So we both have three girls.
Yes. Yeah, we both have three girls.
And I
Yeah,
knew that, but it's so, I mean, I just taped it 2 hours ago and it
of
just,
course. That's a lot of details
the
to
mind,
track.
well, that's just, I'm not going to say it's my old brain. And you know what I'm going to stop doing? Someone said the other day something, and I'm like, I can't remember that. It must be just my dementia. And then they said, they stopped so seriously. They said, don't ever say that again. And
Hmm.
I'm like, it had me like, I had a visceral response, and I'm like, you're
Yes.
right. You're
Yes.
right.
Yes.
I'm
You
never
don't, your
going,
brain doesn't want to hear you say that.
it
No.
does not, and it's not true. It's
Yeah.
just I live in these two worlds, this world of spirituality and this linear, this world that's concrete, and the concrete world doesn't always land, and it gets a little muddled. But the spiritual, the firefly world does not.
Mm,
It's
no.
it's a beautiful place to be,
Yeah.
and I've decided to lean more into that, even though it's not always received, but it's where my legacy will be. Where,
Yes, exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. It's just so fun to expand the definition of what could be included in
yeah,
legacy building and how to make your legacy accessible to you now, how to think about it now
yeah.
while you're alive and what you choose to do,
Mm,
how you show up in the world, how you treat other human beings, how you take care of yourself, prioritize yourself, stop self-sabotaging. Um, like all of
yeah.
that could be your legacy work, not to add pressure, but it's like, wouldn't it be cool to think somewhere down the road, someone describes you as, yeah, she used to self-sabotage all the time, and then she stopped and
Yeah.
took profound care of herself and built this
And
thing.
could that be a legacy? I often say at
Yeah.
65, I'm going to be a bodybuilder. And I know that people want to drag me back, especially the people that aren't rooting for me. And why is it we give
Mm,
them energy? Why is it we give the
mm,
people energy that says, I remember her when she was a road
mm,
rager and she did this and she always, and I'm like, I remember that too. And I love that version of me. And I'm not going to shame her anymore. But
mm.
why do you think there's a propensity and for people to drag you, but there's not a grace of saying, wow, I'm celebrating you? Why is the world, they, and I think that women get drugged back there very easily. And they're like, you're
Yeah.
right, no matter what I do. And we hear this, no matter what I do, I'm right back there. And I always say, no, you're not. No, no,
Mm,
you're not. They're there.
mm.
You're not
Yeah.
there. You're just visiting it. You're just
Right,
visiting.
right. It's such a good question. I think my guess would be that there's safety for the other person in what's familiar and known.
Yes.
So they go to it, maybe not
Yeah.
even intentionally, but it's more of a
Exactly.
biological, I feel safe when I relate to that version of Dana or
Mm.
that way I knew Dana, like
I'm more
that is
comfortable
known to
there.
me. They're more
Yeah.
comfortable because they have not been able to keep up with who you are now, or they don't understand it, or um,
Well,
I
let's
don't
talk
know.
about that. I mean, you are an extraordinarily successful coach. Yeah, I mean, you've coached thousands of women. You do great work in the world. I mean, I've done so much deep dive on you. I know I've done good work in the world. I know what I've built. But why
Mhm.
can't women? And this is heavy on my heart over the last
Okay.
six
Okay.
months since January. It has been why, and I'm asking maybe the wrong question. I don't, I spend, and I think we talked about this. I try to spend 15 minutes a day. I hop on, I give as much love as I can to as many people as I can out there on social media, but life
Yeah.
is busy and I just want them to feel seen, heard, loved.
Yes.
Why is it? Why is it that people can't celebrate, you know, our big wins, and we see them, it's like freaking crickets. And it's
Mm.
like, why do you think that is? Is it, I always think, oh, I'm trying to be too big or too much, and I'm using me as this because I'm your like guinea pig today. What do you think it is? Because I don't think I'm alone in feeling this way.
that people are not.
People aren't out there celebrating you and saying, "Oh my gosh, this is so great," and you're helping. I mean, just like you, are you getting accolades? Are people going, "This is great"? Are they supporting you out there, or is it a struggle to be seen out there and in all the noise and
Hmm.
celebrated?
I think it's all of that. I think it's all of that. I think we have created a society where we are very comfortable tearing one another down, and there's no consequences for doing it.
Well, we see that they can hide behind
You're
fake
right.
accounts, and you're
So,
like, "Oh yeah."
so we've created a system that perpetuates
Mm.
that. I mean, one of the reasons that I happen to really love Substack is that there is something in the ecosystem there that is very uplifting and supportive and celebratory and kind. And so I tend to gravitate to places where that is,
Where you're supported, where it holds
where
space
that's a
in that
standard.
container. Yeah.
Yeah. So whether, because I see more of that than what you're describing, but I am
Well, I'm
really
looking at
selectful.
probably, yeah, I'm looking at probably Instagram, and I'm looking at, yeah,
Yeah, I
I
don't
know,
spend a
okay, I
lot of
gotta
time
say what
there.
I'm talking. Yeah, it's like,
I,
why are they not being nicer? Why can't you support? Why is it so noisy? And I think that I probably just I already have my answer. And hey, Katie, how can people find you? What do you have coming up? Are you speaking? Are you holding
mm,
space for more certifications? Talk about what's going on in
yeah.
your world.
I am, people can find me at katiepulsifercoaching.com. I have a certification in late August that is opening up in a group format. And I am also doing
Mm.
one-on-one certifications, which is fun. It's something I have just
Ooh.
launched where I'm going to do just one-on-one custom bespoke certifications
Oh, that's
because
that's
why
going to be a
not?
deep dive.
Yeah, why not, right?
Why
I'm
not?
on,
Yeah.
I'm on Substack and I'm barely on all the other places.
Yeah.
So,
Yo, I know. I go out there and I'm like, hello, hello, hello. And yeah, yeah.
yeah, I get in
But
and I get out is kind of my attitude over there. So,
well,
yeah.
you know what? I hate to say I have a team that does it. Well, no, I don't hate to say. I have a team. I mean, I'm here all day and I have a team that does, but I love to go out and answer my messages.
Yes.
I like to
Yes.
leave voice like you and I talked, and I like to give love notes all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
because I think the world needs more little mini love notes. Just I see
Mm-hmm.
you, I hear you, you're supported,
It sure does. It sure
and
does.
I could always make time for that. At least
Mm-hmm.
why 15 minutes a day, every day, I always, and I don't like superlatives, always best, never worst, but I always find a way to
That is
connect and
incredible.
support whomever's in my feed. 15 minutes are they're going to uh, get blasted
Awesome.
with love and support, and I see
Oh,
you and I
that's
hear you,
amazing.
and I probably say magnificent too much, but I always say, oh, isn't that magnificent?
I say extraordinary too much, so it's okay.
I
They're
love
good
it.
words to overuse.
Yeah. What's extraordinary in your life right now? On a final note, what's extraordinary?
Oh, well, it is summer in Maine, and we just moved back here full time, and I'm not working on Fridays, and the lavender is blooming in my garden.
Ooh,
My
I don't work on Fridays. I love Maine, lavender. I think it's cheap. It's a cheap flight for me to go to Maine. Well, not from California. Nothing is, but I will find
yeah.
my way to Maine to your lavender fields and your. I
Mm.
mean, I just looked at that as an open invitation
Oh yeah,
to
yes, come
to chase
anytime.
to chase fireflies.
Taste, they're in my backyard. I have lots of them here.
Oh,
So,
I didn't even know that.
yeah, well, of
Yeah.
course you did. Some download came
Yeah,
to you, and
yeah, of course, you're right. Of course I did. Katie Pulsifer, you are,
mm,
I adore you.
mm,
Everyone and anyone, I just want to let my whole audience know, go find her. I know she's not hanging out on IG as much, but I imagine you're hanging out in other places. As you
yeah.
heard, Substack, but go send her a message, send her a love note, say you heard this, and thank you for being here. Thank
Oh,
you for being
thank
so
you
generous
so.
and being so patient with me. I appreciate
Oh,
you.
My absolute pleasure. I was meant to know you, and
Oh
I
yeah.
feel really, really
Yeah.
glad that we
I
are
don't
friends
always
now.
say I adore you but I adore you and I just can't wait to get to know you better and spend more time with you, which I know we will do
We
in the
will make
near
that happen.
future. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, we will. We will make that happen. Fireflies.
Thank you.
All right. Everyone, thank you for joining us on the Dana Grant Show today. And until next time, make sure you follow Katie. Everyone have a blessed day. Mwah! Much love to you all.